Welcome to That Game Talk Sports Blog as we go back into the final segment of our top 10 NBA point guards in the 1980s. Beginning with my top 10 as we conclude. My number 10 is Allen Iverson. Just because he played the point guard position is the reason why I put him in there. And the dynamics. I mean, the guy under 6 feet, averaging 25 plus points a game, 6 assists plus a game. He played the passing lanes well. That was his key on defense. Wasn't a great on-ball defender. Killer crossover, killer handles. And the guy got buckets in key spots where you wouldn't think this guy. He wasn't just like a jump shooter. Mm-hmm. At 5'11", he challenged dudes, and he was just Allen Iverson. Without Allen Iverson, Philadelphia 76ers during that period of time would not have been a good basketball team. He carried them. He gave them Jordan-like presence at 5'11", and because he switched from the shooting guard position to the point guard position. He basically, as far as I'm concerned, allowed Eric Snow to be usable on that team because Eric Snow, all he did was be able to play defense. He couldn't shoot worth a lick. He didn't make assists. He just dribbled up the court. And so my number 9 is Tim Hardaway, a straight beast with the crossovers, a gritty player. He was a leader of that team, but he played on a team with a lot of big names, Alonzo Mournings, and I can't remember some of the other people he played with.
Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullin.
Well, yeah, when he played for Golden State, he played with the Run TMC. He played with those guys, but a lot of what I remember from Tim Hardaway is when he played for the Heat as well too, and. Tim Hardaway wasn't a little point guard. He was a muscular point guard. So he was very physical. He fit on some of those teams he played for. My number 8, Tony Parker. Tony Parker's only number 8 for me because his career is not finished. And a lot of these guys have, track records beyond what Tony Parker played. He played with David Robinson and Sean Elliott and Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili during his career. But I mean, this guy is super quick. He gets to the hole. Just even when he played my Cavs in that series, he just consistently got it to the paint wherever he felt like it. Quick off the dribble, crazy handles to the ball. He's not a great assist man, but he's a good assist man. Mm-hmm. So he gets the bucket. He knows when to attack and when not to attack. So all-star player. I think when it's all said and done, Tony Parker would be a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. My number 7 is Chris Paul. And you see why Chris Paul? Because Chris Paul is one of the best point guards, if not the best point guard in the game now. Maybe the best point guard to come along in the last 10 years because of what he can do. He changes the dynamic of the game. You're talking about a guy that was a perennial All-Pro on a terrible, terrible New Orleans team. This guy can shoot buckets. He plays defense. He gets assists. And a lot of people say, well, you throws a lot of alley-oops to Blake Griffin. Chris Paul was a beast before he met Blake Griffin. So his consistency over the last 8 or 9 years, especially just the way he attacks players and takes over games, whether it be jump shots or getting to the free throw line or getting in the paint and creating his own shot. I would just, not be surprised if when his career is done, he would be higher on his list. Gary Payton, man, 16.3 points per game, 6.7 assists per game. And when you refer to somebody, when you compare him to Chris Paul, Gary Payton spent the majority of his career throwing oops up to the ring, man. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of his assists because of those flash plays. But, I mean, this guy completely took point guards out of the game when they played the Supersonics. Mm-hmm. They called him a glove for the reason. And not only was he quick, but he was physical, strong, built to last. And his points per game was amazing because of the energy that he put out on the defensive end of the game. At number 5, I got Jason Kidd. I think Jason Kidd is he's just a notch below the epitome of a point guard. And why I say that is because he was never a good shooter. He was good enough shooter to get buckets because he could get to the hole. He was a decent free throw shooter. He got better at three-point shooting as his career game, but he's got to be by far the best rebounding point guard in NBA history, along with his assists. He got people points in their sweet spots, whether he was playing for the Mavs, whether he was playing for the Nets. Even when he played for the Knicks, he got people the ball in their sweet spots. He set you up. He put you in the best position for you to be the best player. Like we say, I mean, he went to the NBA Finals with Kerry Kittles and Richard Jefferson, who I do like. Richard Jefferson is a good player. Even Vince Carter, he made Vince Carter a more efficient player. And so, Jason Kidd is lower on this list because of his shooting. At number 4, Steve Nash. I heard you mention that he wasn't a great athlete, but he was a great athlete in the sense because he's a soccer player, which allowed him, this guy was nonstop energy. He runs around the court, runs around in circles. I've seen him come from one side of the court, cross back side of the court, come back to the middle of the court and dish off and get somebody a bucket. And then his shooting ability. He's got range from 3-point. He's got range from mid-range. He's not a big driver, but he can get to the hole. And he just makes everybody better. Amari Stoudemire has never been the same without Steve Nash. And maybe that might due in part to his health, but a lot of that was Steve Nash. Steve Nash revived Shaq's career in a way. They say, well, the Phoenix training staff helped out Shaquille O'Neal. But he got a lot of easy buckets just dealing with Steve Nash. Steve Nash is one of the best point guards to ever play this game. As far as John Stockton's concerned, I got him at number 3. This guy was just an absolute beast. John Stockton, 13.1 points per game, 10.5 assists career per game, 2.2 steals per game, Hall of Famer, 10-time All-Star, Dream Team, 2-time Olympic team, 5-time All-NBA defense, and 1,500 games played in his career. This dude was, and not only was he crafty, and everything he did wasn't Stockton Malone. It was Stockton the Hornacek. It was Stockton to Greg Overcheck or whatever, Ostertag. It was Stockton to Brian Russell. It was Stockton to Thurl Bailey. He played with a lot of average players, and he made them a lot better. His shot selection was always agile. I can't remember John Stockton taking bad shots. He never took bad shots. He orchestrated his offense. He set his offense up to be successful. And when worse come to worse, he got the ball to the man that needed the ball, which was Karl Malone. There's a lot of times these point guards, like lower on my list, somebody like Allen Iverson, number 10, because there was times where, because of his ability, he took the team out of the game trying to create his own shot. John Stockton never did that. Isaiah Thomas at number 2. Zeke was a beast, flat out. And I'll tell you why I got Isaiah Thomas in number 2. The statistics is 2-time NBA champ, 3-time All-NBA team, 5th all-time in career assists, 9th all-time in steals, extraordinary ball handling. He's the all-time leader in Pistons points, steals, and assists. 19.2 average per game, 9.3 assists, 12-time All-Star Finals MVP. But from the point guard position, this guy could take over a game, flat out. Isaiah could take over a game. That's the dynamic, kind of like Allen Iverson, except he did way more than Allen Iverson. He's got championships. But when, like you said, this guy scored 42 points against the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals on a bad ankle. He could take over a game. He was fearless when going to the hole. Hit you with a jump shot, cross you over, steal the ball, and he'll foul you intentionally. So it was physical. Magic Johnson, number 1. It would be hard for me to look at anybody in the face if they could dispute that Magic Johnson wasn't the greatest point guard of all time. I mean, when you talk about the point guard position, every last one of these dudes is under 6'4". Magic Johnson led. He's the career leader in average assists per game at 11.1, 6'9", 220 pounds. And he wasn't just a half court assist per guy. This guy was the fast break. He made the fast break, took it to a higher level with Showtime Lakers. This guy could step out there and run the point guard at 6'9", step out there as a rookie in the NBA Finals and put up 42 points in Game 7 to win the championship. Not only was he the best NBA point guard in NBA history, but he is in the top 5, top 3, maybe top 6, 7, wherever there's an argument to go there, of the greatest players to ever play this game. You know? And so from 1 to 5, 1 to 10, I got Allen Iverson, number 10, Tim Hardaway, number 9, Tony Parker, number 8, Chris Paul, number 7, Gary Payton, number 6, Jason Kidd, number 5, Steve Nash, number 4, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, and Magic Johnson.
Wow. Well, let's just get this conversation started right now by me asking you, Allen Iverson at number 10 in comparison to Kevin Johnson at number 10.
There's no question.
I don't agree with that.
Kevin Johnson couldn't even stay on the.
Yeah, really. In his first 6 seasons with the Suns, they made 3 trips to the Western Conference.
That's a team discussion, though.
That's
with who?
They have to have lead with Charles Barkley.
With Charles Barkley. Who else?
Was there?
Was Tom Chambers there coming off the bench?
Tom
Chambers coming off the bench. Who else?
They had to have a leader. That's what I'm looking at. I don't think anybody led that team to those Western Conference Finals except Kevin Johnson. That's why he had my number 10 spot and not Allen Iverson. Because I don't
When did the Phoenix start going to the Western Conference Finals?
93.
Right, when Charles Barkley got there.
Right.
Right.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with That Game Talk Sports.
He might be in the D League now, but that was